You are watching a master at work.
The kid's back!
So the latest in the never-ending Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez saga that has unraveled since Meg was shot with a bullet that ricocheted back in July of 2020 and required medical assistance following a party with Kylie Jenner at Kylie Jenner's house with her best friend and Tory Lanez. Now, Tory has been found guilty, as we all know, and he was sentenced to 10 years in prison. So you have to ask yourself, how do we get here? And also, why do so many people feel upset with the outcome of this trial? So a lot of people became familiar with this, and when the situation first happened, it was a lot of hush-hush around it, and details started to emerge, and people started to look at Megan Thee Stallion as someone who either faked the situation or lied about what happened, and it started to get to a point where she went online and started making threats towards Tory, saying that she was going to cooperate and he was going to get in trouble for everything that happened. Initially, she was kind of holding it down. Now, she eventually did go on to cooperate with prosecution, and she testified against him in the trial, and he received 10 years after being found guilty by the jury. So it's a lot of people who want to take conspiracy angles and say Rock Nation has something to do with this, as his father did, Sunstar Peterson. And there's a lot of people who feel as though Megan was a liar, completely discredited, because she did an interview and said that she never slept with Tory, but while under oath, she did admit that she did sleep with Tory. Now, another issue that contributed to Tory being found guilty was Kelsey, in an interview with police and prosecutors, said that Tory was the person who did it, and then when she got on the stand, she completely flipped and changed her story once she received immunity. Okay. Now, another angle is the driver, who is the fourth person that was in the vehicle that night and was not seen at all until, I believe they said, the last day of court. They tried to bring the driver in, which means that they knew pretty much where he was all along and kept him in the tuck. Never spoke in Tory's defense. Tory never testified on his own defense, and also you have Tory's star witness who placed the gun in Tory's hands and said he saw the little man shooting wildly. We heard the audio that leaked out of the gunshots that were fired, and you can tell from the way that the shots was fired, it was in a quick succession. So the whole thing about, there was a theory of whether they were wrestling, Kelsey and was wrestling over the gun with Tory, and that's how Megan got hit. It was so many theories. Listen.
On what was played in court that determined Tory Lanez's fate. Now, a crucial part in this trial was the gunshot audio. Now, his defense tried to paint the picture that, Kelsey shot the gun first, and then after she shot the gun first, Tory got the gun from her in a struggle, and the gun went off, and all this and this and that. Well, there was an expert who was a gun expert, and he basically testified that it's impossible for the gun to go off in a struggle. This was a special gun that you needed 8.5 pounds of pressure to shoot it. Now, in the audio, you will see how, back to back the shots were, which eliminates the idea of this struggle for the gun and, this idea that was pushed out. The audio was taken from somebody's ring inside their home. So let me pull it up on the screen.
the end of the day, we know two things happened. Shots was fired, Megan was hurt. Whatever the story was in between there, people have connected their own dots, saying that she's protecting her friend Kelsey when they don't even rock no more. They not cool no more, and I think she even got Kelsey involved in a whole nother lawsuit with her excellent record label 1501. So that narrative of her doing all of this to protect Kelsey, I've never understood that one. The narrative of the record industry has come together to get Tory Lanez is the one that a lot of people are running wild with and running rampant with, stating that there was no DNA found on the gun, and it was a lot of misinformation which has led people to coming up with all type of different theories and assumptions on what happened. And I just would like challenge anybody who feels a way about it to just comb through the case and comb through the facts, comb through the evidence. So much biased reporting came out during this trial and unfolded during this trial from goofies like Lawyers for Workers, academics having his narrative, which we can clearly see that his narrative was free and Tory, right? So the judge even said that what contributed to Tory receiving so much time is that they know and they could tell that Tory's team was leaking information to academics. So it's like Tory was fighting two fronts. He was fighting the legal front, and then he was trying to win the public front of the public war with looking like, I didn't do anything, or I'm an innocent person, or I'm an innocent body in this situation. And yes, he won it in the public. He tried this case in the public and he won it. If you look at the comments on a lot of these posts on social media, you can clearly see that the public is strongly siding with Tory Lanez. Whether it's people who feel like 10 years is too much time, which I can agree with as well, but I mean, it's a reflection of the society that we're in and the prison reform system and things of that nature. Iggy Azalea came under hot water because it was during the sentencing. It came out that letters came in from all different people. It was 2 days worth of a sentencing. I've never seen that. 2 days worth of arguments and testimonies in the sentencing, just attesting to Tory's character. And you have a lot of people talking about his charitable works. Iggy Azalea thought she was going to write a letter in secret that ended up being made public, which triggered a lot of people, especially a lot of black women, with her coming to the defense of Tory. But she pretty much wasn't saying that he was innocent. And another thing that came out, which was really interesting, was one of the jailers, I guess that would be a CO, said that Tory did come across as he was remorseful and he was leading prayers while in jail. Since he's been in the county, he leads a prayer every day. And that would be the only somewhat evidence of his remorse for the situation. Prior to his being sentenced, he did say that he was taking accountability for everything that happened that night, and he, regrets everything that happened on that evening. But still not a straight, I did it and I shot her. Terrible situation. He's a father. He's a son. I'm sure he's a huge provider for a lot of his family, and it's just something that you have to take note of, that one wrong night, one bad night really has the power to alter the trajectory of your entire life. He went from a touring artist selling thousands and hundreds of thousands of records to now he's looking at the better part of a decade behind bars. He'll probably do between 7 to 8 years, unless he is able to get some time shaved on appeal or get it, turned around in that regard. But as it stands currently, Tory Lanez had a terrible, terrible night in July of 2020, and he will have to bear that for the rest of his life, and at least for the next 10 years, as it stands right now, he's gonna have to deal with the consequences of those actions. And it's just a real life lesson, man. It's just a life lesson. Be careful with everything you do, the people you surround yourself with, and the way that you move, and how much you allow yourself to even be intoxicated, and the influences that you're under. What do y'all think, man? 10 years too long? Are you free Tory gang? One thing's for sure is that Meg Thee Stallion, yeah, she wasn't always completely honest throughout this whole process, but like I stated, she was injured during this, and if that was your mother, your sister, whomever, you would feel some type of way that so many people supporting Tory and just not caring about the injured party and all of this. But maybe I'm just a simp, you know? But this is food for thought. Y'all do the dishes. Y'all get in the comments, man. Like, comment, subscribe. Please subscribe. The count is going up. Almost at 400, trying to get to 500 really soon. So if y'all rocking with me, hit the subscribe button. Stay tuned for more. We gone.